Top Democratic strategist James Carville is out with a new prediction about whether or not he thinks Donald Trump will show up to the presidential debate next week.
Well, if I was a gambler, actually I am a gambler.
Yeah.
I'd take even money if Trump doesn't show up. Okay, I just think...
You don't think Trump's coming next week?
I mean, I don't know, but if I was, I think he's going to wake up and say and decide. He just like he said he was going to testify in his defense of his trial. He couldn't even put on a defense. Let him show up. I wouldn't be shocked, but I certainly would not be surprised. If you gave me even money, I'd say he's a no-show. He'll just get up in the morning and say, I'm just not going to do it.
No, I don't think the guy can. Mike Barnicle, I love listening to James. That's James being James. But I don't think Donald Trump can avoid a microphone, lights, and an audience of tens of millions of people watching him.
No, he'll be there, but the odds are I would bet that he goes haywire during the debate when his microphone is shut off. I bet he'll act up over that, no doubt. But, yeah, he's got to show up. He's got to show up. He'll be there.
Yeah. What do you think, Jonathan Lemire? Any reporting that would line up with what James Carville said, or are they planning ahead? Because we've talked about Joe Biden's preparing. Donald Trump doesn't really prepare for anything. You can read the first 3 pages of Art of the Deal, and you see that it's sort of his way of doing business and politics is just showing up and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's no reporting to back that up. In fact, Trump aides in recent days have said that Trump has started to prepare for the debate. They're not claiming he's doing full-fledged rehearsals, but they say he's starting to go through some possible lines of attack and defense. But there is an expectation he'll be there. But what Carville said, some Democrats have been saying all along, this idea that they feel like Trump will be the one to back out of this, that he has perhaps too much to lose, in part because he's ahead in the polls, narrowly, to be clear, narrowly, but has been consistently ahead in some of these battleground states. But I don't think that's the case. I think for both of these men will be there, and the night looms really large for both. And there's been so much discussion about whether President Biden can have a good performance that night, whether he'll be able to deliver, whether he'll be able to sort of quiet the doubts about his age and fitness for the job. And as we have covered time and again, he certainly did during the State of the Union this year. He has in other big moments. The Biden campaign feels like this is actually a real opportunity to change the trajectory of the race and to remind voters, hey, Donald Trump, you haven't really listened to him in 4 years. Here he is. Trump also hasn't debated in a long time. There's a chance that his performance may not be strong at all.
Michael Steele, this is going to be a nerve-wracking debate for both sides. Wondering if their fighters, their aged fighters, are going to be able to get through the 15 rounds. So I think there are going to be a lot of staff members on both sides, a lot of Americans sort of holding their breath, whistling past the graveyard, however you want to call it. Yeah. What do you think is? Give us a tell of the tape here. What are you looking for in this debate? What do you think we're going to see? What do we need to look for as viewers?
So let me just put on the record that I have been where James Carville is since they announced this debate.
Really?
The political incentives are not there for Donald Trump to do this, let alone to your point about wanting to get in front of tens of millions of people. Well, he had that chance during the Republican primary where he could have owned the stage and wiped the floor with these guys, but he didn't take it. It's not a strength for him. He knows it. And the hype, particularly, and this is the thing to look for, and for me, and a very important aspect of this debate is not what these candidates say, but how these candidates react to this environment with no audience. It is a beautiful thing, Joe, to not have the inane whooping and hollering and catcalling by, this, cavalcade of people sitting there for one side or the other. Donald Trump feeds off of that. That's his energy. That's his safe space when he says something inanely stupid. He knows he's got a group of people that are going to be sitting there applauding. Oh, my God, Donald, that was just so wonderful. That's so wonderful. And then, of course, helping to take down his opponent. That goes away. Shutting off the mics, he'll still talk, but the energy is different. So I'm looking for how Trump reacts in this space where he has been checked by not having an audience to back up his lies and his silliness. and to be able to deal with Joe Biden, who, yes, has his own faults and weaknesses, but not like Donald Trump. And so that's going to be an interesting space to see how that plays out with the silence of the audience.
That is such a fascinating point, Mika. And it also underlines the point that Donald Trump's always been able to control his environment. He's always had screaming fans. He's always had these people. It doesn't matter what he says, how stupid it is. He can talk about boats and sharks, electric batteries, all these other things, electric boats. And he'll have people laughing, cheering, doing all of that. You look at The Apprentice. We talked about that. They'd tape him for hour after hour after hour, edit it down, get the best 3 minutes here, the best 2 minutes there. Nothing wrong with that. That's how TV works, unless you do 4-hour shows like we do. But this is going to be him out of his safe space. And we got a glimpse of what that looked like without cameras last week. When Andrew Ross Sorkin reported that when he went before the CEOs, which should have been a friendly group, they were really surprised by how many steps he had lost, surprised by some of the crazy things he said, surprised that at times he was rambling on and really went off topic. So there is a lot to lose for Donald Trump in this debate. Just like there's a lot to lose for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So high stakes for both.
High stakes, just counter to the quietness of the studio that a lot of people think Donald Trump will be jarred by. The Apprentice tapings, he's been in quiet studios at a table with people waiting for the shot to come. He knows a lot more about what it feels like to be talking with someone in a media environment, to be creating content, to be doing a show than most people.
Oh, yeah.
Most people in Congress.
No, yeah.
So I just wouldn't underestimate. I think he might be quite comfortable.
Might be
We'll
really
see.
comfortable in that setting.
Yeah.